This conference will now be recorded.
So in our previous class, we were working with types of harness. So we'll be having four types of harness, that is new, perform, review, and confirm. Okay, so the new harness is responsible for creating the work object ID, and we'll be calling this particular new harness from the flow. Okay, and we will be having this some done button in the new harness. On clicking on done button, we can able to see one add work action being done. So whenever I'm clicking on that, we can able to see some OOTB activities running, and these activities are technically responsible for creating the work object ID. If at all, if we're trying to skip the new harness, so the activities what we're trying to execute now will be executed automatically from the backend. So finally, if you're skipping the harness or if you're not skipping, we have to get the work object ID created, right? So on clicking on done button, this will be created manually or it will be done automatically. So based on the business requirement, we'll be making use of this particular new harness. The work object ID will not be created when we are in the new harness screen. So on clicking on done button, what we can able to see, we can able to see work object ID getting created, and we can able to see one new local action get uh, our assignment shape getting loaded, and we can able to see our local action and the corresponding section loaded. Okay, so whenever we get this assignment section loaded, within this assignment we will be having one more harness called, that is perform. Okay, in each and every assignment shape we will be getting the perform harness. So that is the reason we will be getting some different view when compared to new harness, as well as the last screen, that is confirm harness. So in each and every assignment shape we can able to see that. So if I just run the work object ID, so we can able to see one assignment shape getting loaded. Within this assignment shape we will be calling our perform harness, right? So with this perform harness, it will be loaded and it will be loading the corresponding section. So if I just put the live UI and just see, we can able to see the harness type is perform. So within this harness there will be many OOTB sections getting loaded. Okay, so if I just mouse over on the first one, we can able to see the top section. So if we want to make any modifications there, we can able to do that. So provided actions tab should not be removed. So if we are trying to remove the actions tab, then local actions cannot be accessed. Okay, so be cautious how to make the modifications and what are the things to be changed. So this should be done as per our business requirement. So we can able to make modifications to this section also, if at all if you want to change something like CHG insurance framework case layer. If you want to remove that, you can able to do that. So it's completely as per business requirement, and these are all the OOTB sections. Okay, so these are all part of harness only. So if we just come closer, we can able to see something like PY case action area. So if I just mouse over on this, I can able to see only my local action thing, sorry, only my flow action section. So the green color thing, we can able to see only my flow action related. So the rest all, it seems to be something like an part of harness, like an OOTB. So if I just open this, we can able to see it is having some other sections being called. So let me open this one as well. So in the first class, whenever we're creating the first work object ID, we'll be seeing these cancel buttons and save and submit. So from where are we getting this? This is being called from this OOTB section only. Okay, so whenever I create the new work object ID, assignment has to be loaded. Assignment has to load the perform harness. So the perform harness will be loading one of the OOTB section. So we can able to see here. So it will be loading one of the OOTB section, and this section is loading one's header here, and we can able to see all the necessary things. Okay, so this is the main section that is being called whenever we create the uh, work object ID. So this section, this assignment will be called, assignment will be having perform harness, and perform harness will be calling this section, and this section will be calling all these buttons. So if I just open it here, it is again calling another section. So this is section included into another section. I'm trying to open that section. Okay, so this is the main section from where we can able to get all the buttons. Okay, so in entire PRPC, what are all the buttons we are trying to see, those will be coming from here only. So this is the section responsible for showing all the buttons in the flow action. and this section will be included into another section, that is py case action area. So this particular OOTB section will be loaded when the perform harness is getting loaded. So meaning in each and every assignment shape, whenever we are loading the perform harness, this assignment shape, sorry, this OOTB action has to be loaded. OOTB section has to be loaded, and this section has to load all the corresponding buttons as well as our flow action. We can able to see. So our flow action has to be loaded, and our section has to be loaded, and these OOTB buttons are to be loaded. So we know that these buttons, OOTB buttons, are part of one of the section. So this is the section, and we should be seeing something related to our flow action also. So within this OOTB section, like case action area, we should be seeing one button section, as well as there should be something related to flow action loading. So if I just see here, there will be one OOTB section called flow action HTML underscore sample. So this particular OOTB section is responsible for loading the flow action. So this is very important. So if I just open it here, we can able to see everything like in Java code. So we cannot able to understand anything. So even if you understand anything, if you don't understand anything, also no issues. So our flow action will be getting loaded here. So sections will be passed as a parameter, and we'll be getting the sections loaded. So the important thing what we have to understand here is, whenever I run the flow, whenever we reach to the particular assignment shape, then automatically perform harness will be loaded. Perform harness has to load this particular OOTB section, and this section is responsible for loading the flow action and the loading the buttons. Okay, so if I just click on submit button in one of the flow action, it has to go to the next assignment shape. So the next assignment shape is again responsible for running one of the work object, is responsible for loading the perform harness, as well as it will be loading the this OOTB section. Again, the second flow action will be passed as a parameter here. Okay, so that is the reason we'll be getting second flow action loaded. Once second flow action is getting loaded, we can able to see the second section, and these buttons are common. On clicking on submit button, this flow action has to be submitted, and it will be going to the next assignment shape. Again, perform harness will be executed, and the third flow action has to be passed as a parameter here, and it will be doing like this. Okay, so if there is no assignment shape identified in the journey of work object ID in the transaction, then PRPC has to show confirm harness. So even that will be decided here itself. So if no assignments are given, then it has to show confirm harness. Okay, so the important thing what we have to understand here is, so this is the OOTB section name, which will be holding the which will be passing the flow action and the corresponding section, and this is the buttons. So in the first class we were wondering how are we getting these buttons, right? So this is the place. So this completely happens because of the perform harness only. So clear, right? So yesterday we had made use of this new harness as well, where we have created it into our rule set, and we have just implemented something like in member search. So likewise you can able to make use of this new harness in whatever the way you want. Okay, why? Because the screen will be loaded without having any work object ID created. So if I just want to make use of this screen, we can able to make use like a survey, just kind of a survey collecting, or if we just want to go for member search or terms and conditions, anything. Okay, so before work object ID is getting created, if you want to make use of this, we'll be going further. If at all, if you want to skip it also, it is possible. Okay, so clear, right? Any doubts on this? So these OOTB sections, what we are discussing, that it will be important. So PY case action area is the OOTB section, which will be holding the flow action as well as the corresponding buttons. So this will be called whenever the perform harness is being called only. If I'm going to the last end shape, I will not be called the perform harness. So if the no performance harness is being called, so there will not be any section will initiated. So automatically no flow action getting loaded, no section has to be passed as a parameter also. So that is the reason we'll be getting one more screen. So that is as part of the confirm harness. Clear? So harness is nothing but an user interface which will be applicable across multiple things. So the rules what we are creating, like section or the images what I'm trying to put, it will be applicable only to that section. Okay, so if I just want to have this section applicable for each and everything, then you can able to create somewhere in the perform harness. We know except this part, everything will be common in each and everything. You try to create the same image here itself, then it will be applicable for each and everything. So we can able to see something like an horse symbol here, or symbol or dev studio, all these things, header bar, left menu, and the bottom things. This will be common for each and every screen when we are here. If I just go to next button or anything, whatever the actions I do within this particular portal, I can able to have this same common. I can able to have this as same, meaning this has been created as part of the harness, and we are trying to just navigate between the sections within them. Harness will not be changed, so this will be like a common user interface applicable to each and every screen. Okay, so now we'll be working on one more thing. We'll be making modifications to the existing portal, and we will be just creating the new harness. So we can able to see harness will be of different types. So if I just open any of the portal, dev portal or administrative portal, anything. So these are all the portals, right? So the user interface, what we were seeing earlier for the dev studio is different from here. So in the dev studio, I can able to see one bar at the top and one left pan occupying 30% of the space in the left side, and it will be having one bottom thing, and that will be common for each and every screen within the portal. And this dev studio harness is completely different. So there is no left panel here, and there is no bottom thing also, and whatever the actions we are doing here, so this will be applicable for everything. So meaning there will be one OOTP harness defined within this portal, and there is another OOTP harness defined in my dev studio, as well as if I just go to another portal, there will be one more type of harness. So in this harness I can able to see something like top bar, left bar, and right one. So whatever the actions you take, so left bar is not getting changed and the top is not getting changed. So this is created as part of the harness, and this is also as part of the harness. If you want to make anything common within the portal, we will be creating it in the harness. Okay. So now we'll be working on one small requirement, small change, how to make modifications to the existing portal, and how to create the new harness, and how to implement our business functionality within that. Okay, so here our requirement here is I'll be just accessing the manager portal. So manager portal is also one of the portal where we will be having some OOTP harnesses, right? So now my requirement here is I want to make modifications to the existing portal just to have one more option included here. So this dashboard, on clicking on this, I'll be getting some options, and on clicking on this, I'm getting some options. So meaning on clicking here, what PRPC is doing, PRPC is loading one harness, and within this it will be loading one flow action or the section. Okay, this harness will be having sections. Okay, so on click here, they are calling one harness. So as soon as they click, so the entire screen is getting changed. Okay, they are calling one OOTP harness here, and within this harness, whatever the details we are seeing, those are included as a section. So my requirement here is I have to make modifications to the existing portal where I have to include one more value within this menu options. So these are all menu options. So this can be created by a rule called navigation rule. Okay, so navigation rule will be created if we want to just to show all the things in some kind of menus. So navigation rule will be will already be created. So that is the reason we are seeing here. And if I just want to make modifications to the existing navigation rule, I'll be just identifying it with live UI, and we'll be adding it one more thing here. If I just add one more here, on clicking here, I should be getting some screen. Okay, so for that screen display, I'll be creating one new harness, and within this new harness, we will be creating one section. Within this section, I will be just including all the details related to customer adding. Okay, so requirement here is manager should be in a position to add one customer from his end also. So this is the real user. So this is actually the manager portal. Real users, what they will be doing, they will be just running the work object ID, and they will be just registering the customer into our organization. Similarly, I'm trying to give access to the manager also. Manager can able to register the customer from his end with his login. So as soon as he log in with his operator ID, so he'll be getting this portal. Here, all the managers should be given with one option like add member manually or something. So register member. So if they just click on this one, I should be loading one harness, and within this harness we will be showing some section, and within this section we will be having first name, last name, mobile number, mail ID, all these details. On once manager entering all these details and clicking on submit button, so whatever the details we're entering, that has to be automatically saved into one of the database table what we are maintaining already. Okay, so that is our requirement. Clear, right? So in this process, we'll see how to make modifications to the existing portal and how to create the new harness and how to implement our business functionalities. So first, let me identify the existing navigation rule for this. So remember one thing. So if I'm trying to make any modifications in the Dev Studio, okay, if I'm trying to create any work object ID or anything, if I just click on clipboard, what I can able to see, I can able to see the primary page for this work object details will be PV work page. Meaning PV work page is one of the primary page which will be holding the values of this particular work object ID. If at all, if I'm trying to make modifications on this OOTB navigation rules or anything, so mostly PRPC will be making use of this particular rules created in one class called data dash portal. So we can able to see the same here also. So if I just use live UI and identify the same here, if I'm trying to open it, so it has to be opened in the Designer Studio. So it will be creating everything in the data portal. So whatever the changes we're trying to make use in this particular portal, either in the user portal or in the manager portal, they will be making use of one class called data dash portal. Okay. So if I just use the clipboard, we can able to see the same also. So if I just click on clipboard, we can able to see the primary page here like an PY display harness. We will not be finding anything like PY page here. So the primary page here will be PY display harness for the portal, and we will be given it will be connected to class called data dash portal. So that is the thing we are discussing. Okay, all the things, most of the things related to this portal will be created in the data dash portal only. And the thing why I'm trying to say here is I have to make modifications to the existing rule. So the existing rule has been created already in the data dash portal. Okay, so I have to save as this, or uh, I have to save as this into my existing rule set, and that has to be created in the same class. So that is what I'm trying to do. I should not be creating this particular rule just to make modifications in my framework work class or my implementation work class. It has to be created in the data dash portal. Okay, so that is what PRPC is following. Let us follow the same. So here, so all the navigation menu what we are seeing, it has to be created within this. So in the second menu, why? Because if I just put live UI, I can able to see that second menu is being used. So let me open this second menu and see what they're trying to do. So this is one of the navigation rule what they're calling. If I just open it here, we can able to see all the navigation, sorry, all the menus. Even this has been created in the data dash portal only, as I told you. So everything will be created in the data dash portal. Okay, so these are all the menus what we are seeing here: dashboard, work, pulse, everything. So this is coming from here on. I have to make modifications to the existing rule and have to insert one of the label, and on clicking on that I have to add some changes. So let me see what they are calling on clicking here. So double click on any of the menu, we can able to see its options. So if I go to action, we can able to see uh, if I just click on this, they will be running these many options. So they're calling one harness as well. If I just open the harness, they're trying to call one of the harness that has been created, and this harness has been created in the data dash portal. Okay, so even the harness they are creating in the data dash portal only related to the portal changes and the navigation rule, everything they will be creating in the data dash portal only. If I open the second one, even it should be created in the data dash portal only. Mostly all the rules will be created in the data dash portal only. So now our requirement here is I have to save as this rule into my rule set created in the same class. That is my first change. And second thing, I have to add one more label here, and on clicking here I have to call these rules, meaning I have to create one new harness. Okay, so new harness has to be created in the same class, and harness will be holding the sections, and that is the reason we have to create the section also in this class. So once we create the section, we have to create the properties also, like first name, last name, mobile number, age, gender. So these are all the properties also I have to create, but we have already created these properties in our data class earlier. Okay, so the purpose of we creating this section is to submit all these details in one of the class called chg data customer details or something, right? Save details. So this is the section, sorry, this is the class where I want to insert all my data. So even if the manager is trying to insert data from his end, that data has to be included here. So that is my requirement. Okay, that has to be included here. That is my requirement. So that is the reason. What are all the properties I have created earlier? Okay, so these are all the properties I have created. I can able to make use of these properties by creating one new page in data dash portal class. Okay, so you understood the approach, right? So I should be creating one page onto this data dash portal class, and I have to include this class. Then automatically all the properties will be inherited there, and we have to include one submit button as well. On the clicking on submit button, we have to run one activity just to save all these details into my particular data table. And this section has to be called into one of the harness. Harness has to be created, and we have to include this harness in our navigation rule. So navigation rule has to be saved as into our rule set. So this is the approach. So clear, right? So did you understand the requirement and any doubts as of now? I think you're clear about the approach and the requirement. Clear, no? Both of you?
Yes, sir.
So as I told you, there will be one class called data dash portal. So this is the class. So it will be used for making modifications to the existing portal. So now what I want to do is I want to create one page just to include all the properties. So I'm trying to create one new page here. So am I also understanding now?
Chandran.
Add details page, something like this. So I want to make it using the framework organization, and I'm trying to make use of the same class. So create and open. So this should be a page property and referring to the class like chg data saved. I think save this. So one page will be created, and let me include the section as well. So I'm trying to create one new section in the same class. So here I have to include all the necessary properties, right? So I cannot able to directly drag and drop. So I have to include the empty properties. The procedure will be same. So I think I have, okay. So now let me include the button as well just to run the activity. So let me map the properties now. Okay, so I have included all the properties, and I have to create one new activity, and on clicking on of that activity I have to collect all the information what manager is entering, and I have to put everything in the data table. So we have to go with one obj save for that. So let me save as of now here. So one section has been created, we have created one page as well. Now we have to create one harness. So this harness has to be called on clicking on this menu, right? So for that I'm trying to create one new harness in the same class. So it can be created under user interface category. Okay. So here we have to include our section. So this is my section, just drag and drop. Save this. Okay. So we have created our section, harness and everything. Now we have to create one new activity and we have to save as this particular rule into our rule set, and we have to create the new menu here. So let me first save as this into my rule set. Okay. So this is under our control, it is still in our version, and we have to add one new menu here, and we have to just add our on click action for that. So select the thing wherever you want. So if you can able to click on add above or below, that's up to you. I'm trying to create it at the top. So one empty thing has been added and it will be asking us to add the label names. So I'm giving something like add member. Okay. So if you want to just include with any image, you can able to do that. So you can able to give some image source and click on expression builder, and OOTP library will be opened. So you can able to select anything, whatever the thing you want. So here they will be given with some of the images here. Similarly, you can able to also include any of the things. So let me add this, something like this. So clicking on OK. So we have added this, and other settings, it's just an optional. So go to actions. So on clicking on this, what is the action you want to take? I want to load the harness, right? So on clicking here, we are seeing something like it is loading harness. Similarly, I'm trying to load the harness as well. So add an action and expand this. We can able to call one of the harness here. So just select the harness. Okay, so harness window, harness should be loading the section, right? So that section has to be shown in the pop-up, or it has to be shown as part of this. So we can able to see on clicking here, we'll be getting it in the same window. So it's not like getting new pop-up. So that is the reason I'm trying to go for new document within the same class, same page. You can able to add the any tab name. So let me call the harness what I have created. So this is the harness, right? Select it. And this harness should be either read only or editable. So that changes I want to make. So a manager shouldn't be editing this, right? He has to add some changes from his end. So that is the reason I'm trying to select this one. So click on save. Okay. So one menu has been included, and save this. So we can able to see this particular particular menu in the particular portal, and we can able to see on clicking here, we can able to have the harness as well as the section loaded. But on clicking on that, we have to call one activity. So let me run as of now here. So we can able to see the first thing reflecting here, right? So if I just click here, I should be getting that particular harness as well as the section loaded. Clear? So manager can able to add the things here, and on clicking on submit button, we have to collect all these all these details and put it in our uh, data table. So that is pending. So let me create one new activity. On clicking on this button, I have to take some action to hold all the data, right? So double click here and go to actions. On click, I want to run one activity. So I don't have any activity created. Let me create new one. Add member activity, something like this. So open this. Even this will be created in the data dash portal only. So what I have to do, I have to go for obj save, right? So if I want to go for obj save, there will not be any class name defined. For that, I have to create new page. This is already known for us. And let me create space something like temp page. And this has to be defined in the pages and classes. No, I'm trying to do the same. And the data stored will be referring to this class. So this is the page referring to the class. So uh, once the manager is entering all his details here, if I just see in the clipboard, I can able to see all these details loaded in one page. So this is the page. So I can able to see all these details included in this page in the clipboard. If I just click here, I can able to see add member details page dot first name will be the thing what user is entering here. So all these details will be already stored in the page here. I can directly go for obj save onto that page. Okay, so we need not go for page new also. So I can directly go for obj save, and onto that page, whatever the page where we're having the data. So if we just define this page and the corresponding class, and if we define it here, automatically data will be stored into corresponding data table. Okay, but that should not be, but that is not recommended. Okay, so if ever we are trying to make use of this page for the processing in the user interface, so it is not recommended to go for obj save onto that pages. So performance will be reduced. So that is the reason what is the data we are having in this page has to be copied into one temporary page, and we have to go for obj open on the temporary page. So that is the reason I'm trying to go for one new page creation. So without this also we can able to directly have this data created in the data table. So with one step like obj save, I can able to call this page directly here, and we can able to refer the same pages and classes that should be working. But that is not at all recommended. Why? Because the data onto that page is being used in the user interface and many places. Okay, so that is the reason I don't want to go for obj save onto the existing page. So I'm trying to create one new page, and within this new page, this will be the blank page, right? And I want to copy all the data from this page into my temp page, and I will be performing obj save onto the temp page. So for that I'm going for page copy. So page copy from, we'll be having data ready here, right? So copy from primary dot. So here primary dot will not be py page. Primary will be py display harness, what you have seen earlier. Okay. So during runtime, PRPC will be making use of this primary keyword as py display harness. So that is the primary page for the portals. So primary dot, so this one. So we'll be having data ready here. So that is the reason I'm trying to copy the page data from this page to our temp page. Okay, we can able to put it here also. So by at the end of our step 2, we'll be having the data ready onto our temp page. So let me go for obj save onto the temp page. That's enough. Okay, I'm saving it. So now it should be working. Clear, right? So did we call this activity on the button click? Or did not call? I'm saving it. So now I'm trying to give something like this. Okay, so I'm submitting it now. So let us see the same in our data class, data table. So refresh. So there should be one value with the customer ID as 1234, right? So it should be included here. So refresh. Okay, so it is not coming. So we get the data ready here, but it is not reflecting their meaning. There should be some commit problem. So I think I have not included commit. Okay. So let me include commit now. Save it. So I'm trying to give it like 999. Submit this. So we should be seeing this 1, 2, 3 also. Okay. So we are seeing the first record as well. So if I just click on commit, I can able to see 2 records inserted. Why? So the first record is not committed. So it is in the defer queue. Now I'm trying to commit it. Okay, as soon as I commit, PRPC will be moving all the uncommitted data from defer queue to database, right? So that is the reason we're getting this also. So this is what you have to understand. Okay. And if at all commit is failing, as I told you, if commit is failing, what PRPC has to do, PRPC should be in a position to roll back all the changes. So instead of we going for rollback, releasing the logs or all this stuff, we can able to go for commit with error handling. So there will be one OOTP method called commit with error handling. So where did we have this class? We have this activity created in the work dash class, meaning which is nowhere inherited to this. So if I just check for the inheritance of this class, I can able to see it inherited from data dash as well as the data dash portal. But whatever the activity like commit with error handling, which is used to handle all the uncommitted situations, all the failed commit situations, I want to make use of this here. So in that scenarios, what we have to do is we have to go with class name calling directly. So call, this is common for calling an activity, that's for sure. So if I'm trying to create this activity in our work class, what we'll be doing, we'll directly start typing like commit with error handling. So it should be working. Now, if I just give the commit with error handling, it will not be working. Why? Because that is in another class and this is another class. So data class will be just considered as a sibling to the work dash class. So we cannot able to inherit the components. So if at all, if I want to get it in this kind of scenarios where to get the activities called from one class to another class, we should be directly given the class name work dash dot. We have to give the activity name. So this is my activity name. Test. Okay, I'm saving it. So even now it should be working. So if you want to put the validations also, you can able to put. So I have submitted. Okay, we can able to see the data also. So clear, right? So in this way, we can able to make modifications to the existing harness. So for that, we have to create all the necessary rules in the data dash portal. Okay, so we have seen how to create the new harness and how to make modifications to the existing portals and how to make use of this data dash portal class. And we have seen the importance of harness in detail. Okay, and we have seen how to work with the navigation tools. So clear, right? Any doubts on this? We'll be moving on to the next topic now.
Yes, sir.
You also know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now we'll be working on, we'll be discussing something like an assignment and its routing. Okay, so this is completely related to routing. So routing meaning I have to make one of the assignment or the section to be worked by one specific operator. Okay, so this will be very much useful in the real time where we are trying to apply for leaves, or if I just want to apply for any credit card. So I am a representative. What I will be doing, I'll be just collecting basic information from the user. On clicking on submit button, after collecting necessary things, there will be some screens routed to my manager. Okay, so that screens has to be visible only to my manager. it should not be visible to me or some other people who are not the managers. Okay, so even if you're trying to apply for any leave in your organization, you will be given with some internal portal which will be accessible only by your employees. So you will be just applying for a leave. If I just have two assignment shapes, so in the first assignment shape you will be just applying for a leave. One work object id or the leave request id will be created uniquely, and on clicking on submit button of that particular screen, it will be going for the next assignment shape, and that will be for the manager approval. You cannot able to access any of the screen into with your login. Okay, we can able to see something like this has been routed for the approval or something like that as per the customized message, and manager should be only have the screen loaded. He can able to either approve it or reject it, so it's up to him. Okay, so meaning the first screen has been not given with the routing, and the second screen if I just give routing, then automatically it will be sent to only the operator, right, what we're sending it here. So remember that each and every assignment should be provided by routing for sure. So we are creating some of the assignment shape, we are having the work object IDs created, but still we don't know the concept of routing, meaning without we performing anything also these assignment shapes are working fine for us. But actually that is not the case. Without we providing routing to each and every assignment shape, it is nowhere possible to load this particular assignment. So if you're not giving any routing by default, PRPC will be putting it like a current user. So if I just double click on the assignment shape, there will be something called routing. So routing meaning who has to work on this particular assignment shape. So that is the point here. So by default, it will be given with current operator. Current operator meaning whoever is trying to open the work, create the work object ID, he will be considered as a current operator. So if I'm trying to run the flow, I'll be current operator and I can able to access this particular assignment shape. And the next assignment shape, if I just give the routing to only my manager, okay, so that will not be visible for me. Only to my manager it will be visible. Okay, and if the manager is trying to trying to create the leave from his end, even he can able to apply the leave, right, and that should be sent for the his manager approval. Okay, so for that what he will be doing, he will be just accessing the same flow just to create the new leave. Then in that case, this particular assignment shape as it is given to the current operator, he can able to apply for a leave, and the next assignment shape will be given to the manager routing. So manager I will not be giving here like an any of the specific operator ID or operator name. So this routing should happen as per the clipboard, that is like operator ID dot py report to. Okay, so for each and every operator there will be one py report to. So when we're working with operator rule form yesterday, if we just have one reporting manager included, then automatically that will be included in the clipboard like py report to over to the property. So during runtime, PO report 2 will be having my manager as well as their own managers. So if I just log in, PY report 2 will be my manager, and if my manager is trying to apply for a leave, the second assignment shape that has to be routed to his manager. So based on the current operator, PY report 2 will be changed and it has to be routed to him. Okay. So by default, each and every assignment shape will be provided with the current operator, and we can able to route this to the specific operator if we want, or we can able to route this to work queue also. I'll tell you what is work queue. So if I just select the operator, I should be giving the operator name. Okay, if I just use operator name, then it will be routed to only him. Only he should be working on that. No other person should be working on this. Suppose if I'm trying to have this particular assignment shape routed to manager 1, and the second assignment shape is not given with any of the routing. So by default, it will be with the current operator, right? And this is also not provided with anything. And here, this particular assignment shape, I'm giving it to my manager 2. Okay. Suppose if I'm trying to create the work object ID, by default, only my manager 1 will be accessing. And the second thing, sorry, let me tell you in another way. So I'm trying to create the work object ID, and the screen number 1, I have not given anything. It will be like a current user. And the screen number 2, I'm routing to my manager 1. And screen number 3, there is nothing applied, so it will be like current user. And screen number 4, I'm trying to give it like manager 2. If I'm trying to request for a leave, so I'll be entering all my necessary details here. So since the second assignment shape is routed to my manager like py operator id dot sorry, operator ID dot py report to. So it will be routed to my manager as per the clipboard what I have, and it will be accessible only for him. Okay, so after he approving or rejecting, on clicking on submit button from his end, we have to go to the next assignment shape. So next assignment shape by default we are providing with the current user, meaning so only my manager can able to access. So after clicking on submit button in the screen, we will be having this routing. We'll be having this current operator as this one only, not this one. Okay, so who are recently working on the previous assignment shift, that operator will be considered as a current operator. So even third assignment is visible for the manager one, and this fourth assignment will be visible for my manager two. Why? Because we're specifically defining it here, and this will be visible for my manager two only, and this will be also visible for my manager two only. Okay, so this is the concept of routing. Any doubts as of now? We can able to go for either single operator routing or the multiple operator routing. One second. Okay, suppose if I'm applying for a leave and I'll be just entering all my details. On clicking on submit button, my supervisor has to approve that. So that is my first approval. So that is the first approval I require. So my supervisor has to approve that. So the second assignment will be routed to my supervisor. After my supervisor approving or rejecting whatever the action they are taking, so I have to get the approval from my HR as well. Okay, so I will be having 4 or 5 HRs in my project, in my organization. So if any of the HR is approving, then it should be fine for me. Okay, so all the HR's approvals are not required. So at least if one of the HR permission is given, is either approving, then this request has to be successfully completed. So if this is the requirement, what we have to do, we have to go for routing for the single operator routing for the first time, that is to only my supervisor. I will be having only one supervisor. Okay, so it has to be gone permission for my supervisor, that will be considered as a single routing. And after that is done, it has to be routed to my HR team. Any of the 5 HRs can able to approve that, can able to take action on that, meaning I should not be routing to 5 HRs separately. Okay, if I route it separately to 5 different HRs, it will be considered as in 5 different routings. All the things has to be approved. So we need to get action from each and every HR. So that is not my requirement. If I can able to get at least approval from any of one HR, it should be fine for me. So that is the reason in this kind of multiple routing, we will be putting it in the work basket. So work basket here meaning it will be just having a pending work object IDs, and who are all the operators connected to this particular work basket can able to access that one. Okay, so if my HR team is given with one work basket and 5 HRs are connected to that work basket, and if this work object ID is moving to that particular work basket, and if the first HR is picking up that for the approval or rejection, okay, so as per the locking concept, work object locking, the lock will be acquired on that particular work object ID. So no other HRs can able to access it parallelly. Okay, if the first HR is closing that without taking any action, without approving or rejecting, so then automatically lock will be released after some time. Again, it will be putting back in the same work basket only. It will be available for the remaining HRs after the lock is opened. If at all the first HR is picking up the same work object ID and taking action like closing or rejecting, then automatically work object will be resolved. Once it is getting resolved, the uh, pending work object ID has to be automatically deleted from the work basket, and it will be deleting from the database table also. So PRPC has to perform some delete operation there, and it has to perform some commit operation as well. Okay, so that is the thing. So routing will be of two types, that is single operator routing as well as the multiple operator routing. We call this multiple operator routing as work basket or work queue, both are same. Okay, so before version number 7.4, we used to call this as a work basket. So just like in pending of work object IDs, like it will be just put in one collection, and we call it as a work basket or work queue. After 7.4 version, PRPC started calling this as a work queue. Okay, so both the purpose is same, both are same actually. So they used to call it like work basket earlier, now they are calling it like a work queue. So what are all the work object IDs moved into this work queue will be accessible by multiple operator IDs, not parallel, sorry, not at a time, but they can able to get access on all the items in this particular work basket if they're connected to this work basket. Okay, so this will be considered as a multiple routing. So if it is like in single routing, PRPC will be executing some OOTP activity like to work list. So if I just double click here, so we can able to see that PRPC will be executing one OOTP activity if I'm going for to work list. So what is to work list and what is work basket? I'll take you. So let me open this one. Let me open any of the operator ID. Suppose if I just apply for a leave and if it has to be gone to my manager, what manager has to do? So if we just click on dashboard there or my work, and he can able to see all the pending works, that he has to take action on top of that. He can able to see everything here. Okay. So if I just log in and if I just click on my work, I will be getting all the pending things where my action is required. Similarly, it's the same for my manager as well. If manager is getting 10 leave request, and he can able to see everything here in the my work list only. So this will be called as a my work list. Okay, so this will be available for each and every operator, and this will be considered as a my work list. If at all if I'm trying to route particular work object ID to the work basket, and if this manager is also part of work basket, then he can able to see it in the right side corner. There will be something like work queue. So here one work basket or work queue name will be there, like our project pending requests also. So there will be one predefined work basket or work queue name. On clicking on that, I can able to see the pending work items within that. Okay, so if any of the work object ID routed to only one particular operator, it will be seen in the my work list, and if it has been routed to the work basket, it can able to be seen here. Okay, if that operator is given access to the link to the particular work basket. So this will be considered as a work list, and this will be considered as a work basket. So this will be like in part of single operator routing, and this will be like in multiple operator routing. So if I just route to the single operator, what we can able to see, we can able to see it included in the my work list, and PRPC has to run one OOTP activity for that. So the OOTP activity name for single routing will be to work list. So there will be one OOTP activity, and this is that. So if I just select it here, I have to give the operator name. So single routing for the work list, I'm trying to give the operator name. So PRPC has to run this activity, and whatever the operator name we are defining, that will be passed as a parameter here. Into this property set, it will be passed as a parameter. If I'm just defining any of the hard-coded value of my supervisor operator ID, then that will be passed as a parameter, and it will be passed to this activity, and it will be putting it in their work list. Okay. So the important thing what we have to understand here is PRPC will be running one OOTP activity, that is to work list, and it will be putting out this particular item into their my work list on that page on their login. Okay, suppose if I'm trying to go for work basket routing, PRPC has to run one OOTP activity like to work basket. And we will discuss all this tomorrow. Clear, right? Any doubts?